Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Hope's actress reveals major Thomas reunion clue. Thomas Forrester returns to Los Angeles for Bold and the Beautiful in early September. Annika Noelle, the actress who plays Hope Logan, hinted at a Thope reunion. Bold and the Beautiful. Thomas Forrester's return sparks excitement. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about Hope Logan and Thomas Forrester's much-anticipated reunion. It appears that Annika Noelle would appreciate it as well. If you are not currently following us, please click the subscribe button. I've been suspicious ever since it was announced that Matthew Atkinson would return to Bold and the Beautiful in just a few weeks. If you listen here on a regular basis, you are aware of this. Not because I dislike Thomas, but because I believe Brad Bell is exaggerating a situation that will not materialize. B&B characters return. Ivy Forrester, Wyatt Spencer, and more. Remember how he brought back Ashley Brewer as Ivy Forrester and made a huge deal about it in 2024? She stayed for 2 or 3 episodes. She had lunch with Liam Spencer, told him she still loved him, missed him, kissed him, and then vanished. Then they got us thrilled again. Oh, Ivy's back as part of the jewelry line. We rarely see her and have never seen her with Liam. Instead, Ivy Forrester returned mostly as a ploy to introduce Electra Forrester as Will Spencer's girlfriend while she was being pursued. Ivy suddenly vanished. Remember how they brought Darren Brooks back for 1 episode only to write Wyatt Spencer off for good? So, for those and other reasons, I'm skeptical of Brad Bell's claims concerning Thomas's recovery. That's why when I saw Annika Noelle's post on Matthew Atkinson's return, I became excited. Hints to long-term return for Thomas Forrester. The Bold and the Beautiful has not stated if Thomas Forrester will be back for a minute, a while, or forever. However, they did have Matthew Atkinson marketing his return in a way that suggests a long-term comeback. They showed him this deck in the back of the filming stage where Bold and the Beautiful has relocated to the new sound stage. He was playing cornhole. He hurled 1 beanbag but missed. Then he tossed a second and hit a cornhole. The Thomas actor captioned the image, 2 times the charm. I don't believe it was only about the beanbag game. That sounds like Matthew Atkinson's second appearance as Thomas is a major thing. Hope Logan's Instagram teases a family reunion. Thankfully, we have reason to be hopeful because Annika Noelle shared a tale on Instagram that was a wonderful little tribute to her and Thomas's past. It was definitely intended to get people excited for Matthew Atkinson's return. One of the scenes included Hope Logan hugging Douglas Forrester, with Thomas standing quite close to Hope, his arm around Douglas. This also suggests that Henry Joseph Samory will reprise his role as Douglas Forrester, albeit no official announcement has been released. Douglas Forrester and Paris Buckingham, who is returning to B&B. In Annika's chosen scene, Thomas, Hope Logan, and Douglas appeared to be the epitome of a happy family. That points to Douglas returning home with Thomas, which would be a good sign of a long-term revival. It's also unclear whether Paris Buckingham returns with Thomas and Douglas, or if he and his kid are alone. Diamond White, who plays Paris Buckingham, has been extremely busy with other projects and has given no indication that she would return. So, if Thomas Forrester returns to stay, I predict Paris Buckingham will either not return or will conduct a drive-by as part of a Thomas and Paris breakup scenario. Will Thomas and Paris's engagement survive? Thomas was still engaged to Paris as of the last we knew. They were living in France and raising his son. They planned to marry at the Forrester mansion before returning to France. That didn't happen either. Hopefully, Thomas and Paris aren't just returning for a few episodes before marrying and leaving Bold and the Beautiful forever. However, it appears that this is not what we will witness. Thope reunion hints. Hope, Thomas, and Douglas's future. Based on Matthew Atkinson and Annika Noelle's Instagram posts regarding his return, she posted a nice family photo of Thomas Forrester, Hope Logan, and Douglas Forrester, which gives me major Thope reunion feelings. Furthermore, despite Hope Logan's engagement to Carter Walton. Their relationship is far from stable. First, Hope had completely lost faith in Carter after he returned Forrester Creations to its rightful owners without informing her. She was upset about it. Second, Daphne Rose, the perfumer, has been sniffing around Carter Walton and is desperate to make him hers. Hope is aware of this. Carter Walton, Hope Logan, and Daphne Rose. Is there a new bed and breakfast love triangle? Third, Liam will live. Daphne may get in Carter's ear and shake his confidence, as well as Hope Logan's, while attempting to seduce him. So Thomas won't be back for another few weeks. The actor has resumed shooting, although there is a 4 to 6 week tape-to-air delay. Hope Logan's life could alter dramatically by then. Even if Hope Logan is still engaged to Carter Walton by the time Thomas returns, she may end the relationship to reunite with her former for one reason in particular: Liam Spencer's influence, past and present. Hope has always stated that she wants a one-woman man. That was never Liam. He's the waffle boy. Thomas never looked at another lady while they were together. He only started seeing Paris after Hope broke his heart by rejecting his marriage proposal for the second time. Meanwhile, Carter Walton had recently kissed Daphne Rose, which Hope witnessed. So he has not been completely faithful or a one-woman man. With Thomas returning and looking better than ever, Carter may lose his girlfriend. At the very least, he has Daphne as a backup. Hope Logan surrounded by Carter, Liam, and Thomas. With Thomas's return, Hope finds herself in a position she has never been in before. She now has 3 men in her life: Carter, Liam, and Thomas. Hope loves them all in various ways. I've been saying for a while that I don't think Hope, Logan, and Carter Walton are the endgame. While Liam Spencer loved Hope, he did push her towards Carter, Ivy Forrester, and possible new romances at B&B. We also have Ivy waiting in the wings, still in love with Liam. She was talking about him the other day. She still wishes to reunite with him. So Ivy and Liam may perhaps spark. Carter might end up with Daphne Rose, that left her single and eager to mingle with Thomas, who she claims made her feel things she had never felt before. Remember the first time they became busy? She stayed in his bed for almost a day and a half. Remember when Brooke Logan came in on them? Who does this? That was odd. Will Hope Logan and Thomas Forrester reunite on B&B? So, in the end, Hope may be unable to resist her attraction to Thomas. Hope Logan was upset when Thomas left LA after she turned down the second marriage proposal since she wasn't ready for it. But Thomas was. Hope Logan was distraught when Thomas Forrester proposed to Paris Buckingham. She even requested him to call it off and get back to her. If Thomas returns to LA single, I believe it will only be a matter of time until Hope Logan and Thomas get back together. If they do, I'm ready. I'm a big soap shipper. One thing is certain. Thomas's homecoming will shake up Hope Logan's life. Annika Noelle's recent Instagram picture appears to be a dedication to loved-up Hope, Thomas, and their son Douglas Forrester. So perhaps she was giving us a preview of what's coming. Let us hope so. Hope and Liam's magnetic pull. Carter's marriage questions. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, August 18th, state that Hope Logan and Liam Spencer will experience a magnetic draw, while Carter Walton will face marriage questions. Now that Liam understands he never had a brain tumor and that his treatment was a forgery, his quick recovery makes a lot more sense. Of all, Liam has been recovering from a gunshot wound, so Hope may remind him of this and suggest he continue to take it easy. However, Liam is feeling better physically right now. It's been difficult to deal with the emotional toll, but Liam will be grateful for Hope's support in the aftermath of Grace Buckingham's confession. That being said, Liam would admit that Hope has been smitten with him for some time and needs to get back to her normal life. Although Liam will be confident Hope has a million other things she might be doing, she will smile and say there is no else she would rather be. This whole event has served as a reminder of how solid Hope and Liam's bond is. There's a magnetic draw between Liam and Hope that won't go away anytime soon, so should Carter worry? Carter trusts Hope and has no reason to doubt her dedication to him, but there could be a reason why B&B is pushing her towards her ex. Is the program preparing for another Hope and Liam reunion? While Hope remains focused on Liam, Carter will face some marriage-related challenges at work. Ridge Forrester will worry if Carter is truly dedicated to his future with Hope. Ridge may see an intimate encounter between Carter and Daphne Rose. That's the kind of thing that could make Ridge wonder if Carter will be satisfied with Hope. On the other hand, given what transpired during the takeover, Ridge may simply not think Hope is a good match. Ridge blamed Hope for influencing Carter, and he may be afraid she would lead him astray again. Whatever the situation, Carter will make it plain that he wants to marry Hope and will hold firm on their wedding preparations. Carter will hope for a bright future with Hope at his side, but Ridge may feel awful news is on the way. According to the bold and the beautiful spoilers, Carter may need to adjust his perspective in the upcoming episodes. Hope cheats, and Carter faces heartbreak again. The bold and the beautiful spoilers state that Hope Logan gets engaged to Carter Walton. However, she has spent a lot of time with Liam Spencer. Lope has rejoined, even after the false tumor was uncovered. So, could she wind up cheating on her fiancé with her ex-husband? Continue reading, and let's discuss what could happen next in this story. Carter Walton's proposal. Fans recall Daphne Rose attempting to get her claws into Carter, but he couldn't stay away from Hope. In reality, once Hope explained why she was embracing Liam, Carter understood he had misinterpreted the situation. Then he proposed. Liam had encouraged Hope to reconcile with Carter, so she accepted the marriage proposal. Liam Spencer's death sentence. Lope has spent a lot of time together. That was acceptable given that Grace Buckingham lied and claimed Liam was dying of an incurable brain tumor. The doctor even prescribed drugs to induce some of Liam's brain tumor symptoms. Hope Logan's reconnection. It was John Finn Finnegan who discovered the truth. Grace told the doctor her sob story, but he refused to cover it up. Finn dragged Grace to Bill Spencer's house to tell Liam and Hope the truth. Since then, Hope has spent all of her time with Liam. Where is Beth Spencer? Did she really leave the baby in Carter's bachelor pad? In any case, Hope and Liam appear to be reconnecting. Even Hope acknowledged this in the show that aired on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Daphne Rose's Second Chance. This event seemed to have the potential to bring Hope and Liam closer together. Meanwhile, what has Daphne been doing since she returned to Los Angeles? The Noes might have pretended to be there to help Steffi Forrester Finnegan. However, when Steffi went to France, did she leave with Daphne? Or is there a chance Daphne is still around? If this is the case, it would be typical of her to want to rekindle her relationship with Carter. While Carter has previously rebuffed the Noes, he may be unable to resist this time, especially since Hope spends all of her free time with her ex-husband at Bill's place. Hope appears to be planning to cheat on Carter with Liam. However, it may also be a benefit in disguise. After all, Hope's life was going well when she was married to Liam. Could this be the universe correcting a mistake? Hope's actress teases major Thomas reunion clue, and as bold and the beautiful spins towards September, the air in Los Angeles practically trembles with the anticipation of Matthew Atkinson's comeback as Thomas Forrester, a return not simply of a character, but of a storm, a promise, a whisper of unfinished love tangled in the hearts of Hope Logan, Liam Spencer, Carter Walton, and even Paris Buckingham, while Annika Noelle with a single curated Instagram story showing Hope, Douglas, and Thomas, in a frame that looked as domestic and perfect as a holiday card, dropped a breadcrumb trail that fans immediately pounced on as a sign that the Thope ship was not just floating, but preparing to dock again. And as soap watchers remember, Hope and Thomas have always hovered in that dangerous gray area between passion and self-destruction, a pairing that makes Brooke Logan bristle, Ridge Forrester flinch, and Liam Spencer burn with jealousy even when he swears he's moved on. And so this tease is more than a tease, it's a signal, a flare shot into the night sky saying, "Get ready, because everything you thought you knew about Hope's love life is about to combust." Yet the irony is that while Hope is technically engaged to Carter Walton, a man whose stability, loyalty, and commitment should be everything she's ever wanted after years of waffling with Liam, there are cracks, deep cracks, and those cracks have names, histories, and bodies. Liam, who nearly died from a fabricated brain tumor. Scam, but came out alive and more tied to Hope than ever. Daphne Rose, the nosy perfumer who stalks Carter with a hunger that grows by the day, and Thomas, who left LA with Paris in tow only to reappear with a second chance on his lips and a second debut that the actor himself cheekily captioned 2 times the charm, which fans know is more than a cornhole joke. It's a layered promise that this time the story might stick. And when you consider that Ivy Forrester has also been floating on the periphery, confessing in private moments that her heart still beats for Liam, and that Paris Buckingham's absence, busy as Diamond White is with outside projects, essentially clears the field for Thomas to step back into Hope's orbit without a fiancé to slow him down, the tableau becomes clear. Carter stands on a fragile foundation, Liam and Hope pulse with unresolved energy. Thomas returns as the dark horse who has only ever loved her with obsessive devotion, and in the shadows Ivy sharpens her longing, Daphne sharpens her claws, and Logan sharpens her warnings, setting the stage for an autumn in Los Angeles that promises betrayal, kisses, arguments, fainting couches, and the very real possibility that Annika Noelle's Instagram hint was not just playful nostalgia, but the beginning of a soapquake that could topple every current couple into ruin. Because in soap opera language, nothing happens by accident, and every Instagram tribute, every actor's caption, every behind-the-scenes cornhole toss becomes a coded message to the audience that the writers are threading a needle of destiny, which in this case means that Thomas Forrester is not just back to make designs at Forrester Creations, but to redesign Hope Logan's entire emotional blueprint. And that terrifies Carter Walton because deep down he knows that Hope's history with Thomas was never really over. It was paused, pressed down under layers of obligation, guilt, and Brooke's interference. But passion like that never vanishes, it smolders, and as soon as Thomas walks into a room with that quiet intensity, with Douglas at his side looking like the missing piece of a family portrait, Hope will feel that smolder catch fire again, no matter how many times she insists to Carter that she's committed. And speaking of Carter, his insecurities are not imagined because Daphne Rose is circling like a hawk, playing the role of office confidant 1 minute and seductress the next. Knowing Carter has a history of giving in to temptation, and while Hope may be doting on Liam at Bill Spencer's mansion after the fake tumor scam unraveled thanks to Finn dragging Grace Buckingham to confess, Carter is left with too much time to wonder if he's just a placeholder, a safe bet while Hope's heart continues to oscillate between the chaos of Liam and the intensity of Thomas. And what makes it worse is that Liam, even in his most vulnerable state, continues to have that magnetic pull over Hope, that shared history of children, tragedy, and love that simply will not die. So while Carter prepares himself to stand tall as a fiancé, he may be standing on quicksand, and when Ridge Forrester inevitably questions whether Carter is truly endgame for Hope or just another man in a long line of disappointments, Carter's confidence will crack just enough for Daphne to slip in, planting seeds of doubt and lust that could undo his engagement even before Thomas makes his first LA entrance. And when he does, imagine the ripple. Douglas running into Hope's arms, Thomas looking at her with that mixture of yearning and determination, and Paris nowhere in sight, which itself is a statement louder than words, a signal that his engagement overseas has quietly dissolved, freeing him for the possibility of what Annika Noelle's tease suggested. A family reunion not just on Instagram, but on screen. And while Logan will panic, Ridge will waffle, and Liam will fume, the undeniable truth is that Hope Logan has never been able to resist the gravity of Thomas's love when it is presented without manipulation. And this time, Thomas has the upper hand because he is the one returning, he is the one with Douglas, he is the one with the momentum of fan demand, and in the echo chamber of soap gossip, fans will fuel the storyline forward. Just as they did when Ivy Forrester suddenly reappeared talking about Liam, only to evaporate again, but unlike Ivy's failed comeback, Thomas's return is being staged as a seismic shift, a long arc rather than a cameo, meaning Carter, Liam, Daphne, Ivy, and even Brooke are pawns on a board that Thomas and Hope will dominate. And as September approaches, the sense builds that we are on the edge of a triangle exploding into a square, then a pentagon, because with Daphne lusting for Carter, Ivy pining for Liam, and Paris likely written out, the math points directly toward one conclusion. Hope and Thomas, hand in hand, rekindled, a possibility so strong that Annika Noelle could not resist teasing it. Herself, knowing fans would dissect every frame, every hug, every nostalgic callback to the moments when Thope burned hottest, and as the weeks unravel on screen, Hope's internal conflict will be heightened by the fact that Liam's brush with mortality softened her toward him. Carter's stability comforts her, but fails to ignite her, and Thomas's return will remind her of the one thing she admitted she had never felt before, an intensity, a passion that left her unable to leave his bed for a day. And a half, the kind of love that soap operas are built to exploit, and so the question becomes not if Hope and Thomas will reunite, but when, and whether Carter's heartbreak and Liam's outrage will simply be collateral damage on the road to the inevitable.